Welcome everyone to our second episode of our review of Creature Feature Weekend 2023.
Oh my god. Can I just say, not only was this show amazing, but what even elevated it to a different level, right, would be what happened on Saturday night. I'm talking about our first interview, and he, needless to say, rocked the house on Saturday. It was incredible. This is my favorite part of Creature Feature, are these concerts, and Ari Lehman. Let's talk about it.
Ari Lehman is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Fun story. I know we don't really get into it in the interview. You and I, we are like old school fans. 2005. You bought the demo.
Mm-hmm.
He gave it to me for free in the lobby, so haha. But I know. But anyway, we started bonding over one song and one song in particular. And for those of you who don't know, there was a song on it called You Better Run.
Yeah.
Now, for the longest time, EJ and I have been singing this song, which was going, you better run, you better run, you better run. Here comes first Jason.
And not only just us, it would be like Rory and Adam.
Everybody was singing
our
this song.
group of friends, we were obsessed. We loved First Jason. Especially You Better Run, this song. Recently, in recent years, he actually changed the lyrics just to You Better Run, not Here Comes First Jason.
Yeah.
We brought it up to him on Friday night. We're like, yo, we like are old school. We loved your stuff from like 2005. And he was like, wow. And he was like, yeah, I did change the lyrics. He was like, I thought it would be lame to just say your name and the song. So he's like, I changed it up. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to add that to the set list on Saturday. And so we're like, really? So as you can see in the video, he gives us he's pointing at us, and he's like, here comes first Jason. And we were like, yes!
And he's like smiling, having a good time. I think he's able to like looking at us, he knows that we're living like our best life here.
Yeah. The concert was amazing, and right now you'll see our interview with him.
And I think you'll be able to tell just by the interview. So with that being said, take it away, Seamus.
Hey, it's me, Ari Lehman, the first Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. And I'm here with Seamus from Fourth Cut Productions. What's up, man?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Fantastic. How did you like Creature Feature Weekend?
Man, I had a great time. What about you?
It was fantastic. It was a blast. Oh, man. I mean, we rocked out in this very room. And what an amazing assembly of celebrities and the fans were just I don't know if I've ever met so many nice people all in the same place at one time. So many of the people that were at this event, it was, recently we did Astronomicon in Detroit and then Creature Feature Weekend. At both of these events, it's just family. I've been doing these cons for quite some time, but it's always wonderful to meet up with people and see them again. It's really a thrill.
So they want me to ask you questions, but I gotta know first, how do I get a jacket like this?
This jacket is from the Alley in Chicago, and it says First Jason on the back. Yeah, this is actually the old one, though. I mean, you could go to the Alley in Chicago. They do mail order, too. That's where Rob Zombie got his skeleton leather jacket from the Alley in Chicago. And they're my buddies.
So let's talk about Friday the 13th.
Let's.
Now, that was your first ever movie experience, right?
Well, no. Actually, there was a film called Manny's Orphans about a ragtag bunch of orphans that win their orphanage back from the mafia in a soccer tournament. And that's the movie that I auditioned for Sean Cunningham in Westport, Connecticut. Of course, I did not audition to be Little Jason. No. In fact, it was for that movie, I snuck into the YMCA in Westport, Connecticut. And I landed an 80-line role as Roger the sex-obsessed little boy who's always walking around with a Playboy magazine. And yeah, he was like the right-hand man of the lead character in this movie. But Paramount broke it to Sean. They said, this would be great if it was about baseball or football or any other thing but soccer. Because in 1978, nobody played soccer in America. So there was no soccer moms at that time. So they said, look, you've got this much time and this much budget left. Give us a horror movie. Come on, like that one with Wes Craven that you did, Last House on the Left. And he was like a bit reluctant. But in the long run, he had seen the success of Halloween. So he thought, Friday the 13th. You know, it shows so much about Sean's, I guess, flair. He's got a very kind of subtle genius, if you want to call it that. I mean, I know he wouldn't agree with me. He's very, very, very humble about what he does. But what he did was he wrote Friday the 13th with a wood burning device on a piece of driftwood. And he put that picture in Backstage magazine, and that's how he got the money for Friday the 13th. That's all he had. And Victor Miller, the writer, came up with the whole story. They knew it was going to be at a summer camp. So then, as time passed, you know, they needed a little boy in the lake. So at first, it was to be Noel Cunningham, which was Sean's son. But, okay, Sean's wife said, no way, I don't want him to be the little boy in the lake. That's terrible. So it was kind of like that old commercial for Life cereal. They said, who would do it? And Steve Miner goes, oh, I know, Ari, he'll do it. He likes to do anything. He'll do that kind of thing. And so they just called me on the phone, and it was summertime. I was just hanging out at my house in Westport. The phone rings, and it's Sean. And I'm like, hey, Sean. He's like, hey, Ari, we got another movie for you. And I'm like, wow, it's like my new summer job. You know, I do movies that never come out. You know, it's great. I didn't care. I was like, great. Okay, let's do it.
What was it like being able to work with Betsy Palmer?
Oh, I was in love. I mean, everybody's in love with Betsy Palmer. She lived with James Dean for 2 months. Did you know that? While they worked on, they did a live television project. It was called Witness to a Kill, or Witness to something. Anyway, it was live television, her and James Dean. So James Dean, they're in a drugstore together, and somebody gets killed. And the cops come in, and they blame James Dean, but he's innocent. The only person who knows that he's innocent is Betsy Palmer. And they've been flirting and whatever, so this and that. And at one point, James Dean forgets his lines. And it's live television, and it was in New York City, so millions of people were literally watching. And he's like, he forgot his line. And Betsy, what a generous actress and wonderful lady, she says, you were going to say blah, 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 blah. So she remembered his line. So she says, you were going to say this? And you just see the look in his eyes. He's like, he's like, he could see how much he loved her. And you got to see that. You could look at it on YouTube.
So that makeup.
That makeup.
Yeah, that makeup that you had to wear.
It took 4 months for Tom to go through the process, because first they had to actually cast my head in alginate. Then they have a bust of your head, which is kind of gruesome to see. And then they start building the mask on that. So that takes time. Then they cast that part. They fill that creates the mask. So then they fit the mask. Then they had to do the false teeth, and they had to do the glass eye.
So how long did that all take?
That took,
to get
several months.
Well, and when you had to get it on for a shoot.
Each time it took about 4 hours. So
it's a long time.
Well, yeah. I mean, if we had to be shooting at 7, I'd have to be on the set at 3 in the morning. Yeah, which is something to get used to. The first time they put the makeup on for little Jason, it was really early in the morning, and we had finished, and it's in the woods in New Jersey, so it's very quiet. And Tom Savini and Tasso Stavrakis had a barber chair set up to do all the makeup, and there was a big mirror there. But I was pointed away from the mirror while they did the makeup, so they didn't want me to see anything. So then they said they wanted me to get into the role psychologically. So they said, we're going to leave you alone. Okay, so we're going to turn the barber chair around, and we're going to leave. So count to 10, and then open your eyes. And so I did as I was instructed, and I waited, and it was really quiet, and you could just hear the chirping of the birds, and I opened my eyes, and I was so shocked that I thought someone else was in the room with me. I looked around like, who was that? And I realized it was me.
So let's talk about last night. Man, you rocked the roof off the house last night.
Wow, thank you so much. Seamus, I appreciate that.
That was a kick-ass show.
Thank you, bro. That's what we love to do. That's my main thing, I think that it's good to know your strengths, and if I can do something well, then I think I should present that humbly to the audience, because that's the best I have to offer, and it's an honor to be able to play with everyone. And I think that it's very surreal. Obviously, the whole first Jason experience. There's a lot of comedy into it. There's a lot of humor. There's a lot of horror. There's a lot of just bravado about having been the first Jason. So I think there's a lot of fun, and obviously I take it very seriously, but I don't take myself too seriously, because I'm the baby Jason, So we can have so much fun with it. And we had that great cosplayer jump up on stage who was doing part 2. Sackhead, and he was rocking it. It was fantastic. I think that the audience loves that, and it heightened the whole experience.
What are your opinions on Freddie?
Well, you know how Kane feels about Freddie. I think he likes Robert. Like me, too. I think Robert Englund is a great guy. Freddy Krueger sucks. Give me a break. I mean, my God, he's just annoying. It's like, what is that? He's just like, he's so annoying. He doesn't let you sleep. And that's the worst thing. You need to sleep. Please. Man. You wake up, he's still there. Welcome to prime time, bitch. Fuck.
That's the best kill, though.
I know, but it's so annoying. That one is good. I'll give him that one. But still. I mean, I'm not saying the kills are bad. I'm saying he's annoying. Chucky is also annoying. It's like, what the fuck?
Why didn't somebody put him in the fireplace?
I just want to. Didn't Andy Barclay did that in Curse of Chucky? That didn't matter. He's like Jason. He just keeps coming back, and it's that annoying Brooklyn accent. What the fuck? He's like, yeah, what's up? How you doing? Forget about it. I'm gonna kill you now. It was like, I'm your best friend. Whoa, that's creepy as fuck. It is, right? That's half of what did it.
Do I want to know how you feel about the Leprechaun?
See, that's cool. I'm all about Leprechaun and Gremlins. But Chucky,
What are your what's your favorite scary movie?
Scary movie? No, it
Besides
depends.
Friday.
The era, I love horror movies from every era.
Right.
So I could tell you, like, the earliest era would be like Der Golem, and Faust, also by F.W. Murnau. Nosferatu, all those great early films. But there's one film I love to talk about because it doesn't get spoken about enough, in my opinion, and that's Night of the Hunter, starring Robert Mitchum, which was Charles Laughton's only directorial effort. And it was a fine film that I feel is a departure from the European Gothic horror. It could be, in my opinion, the first American horror film. Another one I like to talk about is Dementia 13. This is a Francis Ford Coppola's first film that he got noticed for. It's a great film, and it's like the story of Friday the 13th. But instead of being at a summer camp, it's at a wealthy mansion. And there's a couple characters that are very reminiscent of characters in Friday the 13th, and it's called Dementia 13. So, and of course, I'm pretty sure Victor Miller saw it, but I'm not sure. So check that one out. But so it's been great talking, man.
Yeah, man.
What's this shirt you got on? Look at that.
First Jason,
First
baby.
Jason making girls wet since 1980. What?
What a great interview.
Yeah.
Ari Lehman is seriously one of the coolest people that you could possibly meet.
It was like, it was almost like he was a professional wrestler cutting like a promo, like some of the stuff he will do. Like in his interview, he's so animated.
Yeah, this is like the first interview I think that we did where we didn't introduce him. He just introduced himself and then he introduced Sheamus.
I know, he was like, I'm with Sheamus. And we're like, this is awesome.
This is awesome.
But yeah, no, he was so cool, so fun. And he brought up someone that we're going to talk about in a second for our second interview. But yeah, if you guys want, we're going to have his links below. Mm-hmm. So you could check out his band, First Jason.
Yeah, and we'll also have the links to our next guest on the show, which is
Josh. Yeah. So Josh was one of the volunteers at the convention, but one of the coolest things that he did was he played Sackhead Jason the night of the concert. So he was up on stage with Ari and just
which was just something that he asked him the day of.
Yeah, he was like, hey, do you have a Jason for tonight? And that's how cool Ari Lehman is. He's just like, no, come on up tonight and hang out.
The coolest guys. And Josh was super cool too.
Yeah, and so we got to talk with Josh after the show and like just mark out a little bit, which is, fan out about First Jason and the concert itself. And then we got to interview him the next day and talk about that and a couple other things about volunteering and stuff.
The other cool thing I like about the videos that we're doing is you never really hear from volunteers. They never really get interviewed, but really they're the unsung heroes of all of these conventions. So
yeah,
it's great hearing from Josh. I know we have another volunteer we're going to hear from later on. So
yeah.
That being said, here's Josh.
Hi, I'm EJ Leeson with Fourth Cut Productions. Today, I'm sitting with Joshua, who not only worked here at Creature Feature this weekend, but he got to play Jason last night on stage for Ari's concert. How was that?
Dude, that was an experience, man. I look up to Ari because he plays music, and he was Jason Voorhees, and Friday the 13th is my favorite movie series, of course. And I just asked him yesterday, I was just like, hey, Ari, do you need a Jason for stage tonight? And he was just like, oh, yeah, bro, let's do it. So that was a really good moment for me. I felt really good up on stage, and it just felt natural, as all can be.
Yeah, and what was cool is you played one of my favorite Jasons, which is, the potato sack.
Yeah, yeah, the sackhead Jason is, he's not as appreciated as he should be. For two things. One, he's the most terrifying because that really could happen. That is a realistic aspect of Sackhead Jason. And two, it's the second Friday the 13th is the most realistic to me just as a whole, not just Jason, but it's just a realistic film to me because any of that could happen. But yeah, no, I really like the fact that people do appreciate still Sackhead Jason because he's awesome. He's a good dude.
Yeah. Now, how did you get into helping out for the weekend and being a part of this?
So my girlfriend's brother-in-law, Ethan, is very good friends with the person who runs this event. His name's Craig. He just asked me randomly one day, he's like, hey, that I volunteer at Creature Feature, would you want to do that because you like horror and all that? And I said, you know what, why not? I'll take a stab at it. It would be fun, absolutely. Yeah. And I enjoyed every minute of it. We got to hang out with Doug Jones here, and I got to see some people from the second Friday the 13th movie, and Ari, of course. People from Killer Clowns were here, which was like I never expected to see those guys. But no, it's just it's a very different experience because I'm a con attendee usually, and being the person on the other side of it, it's like I see everything, and it's a whole different cool experience because it's not actual work.
Right. Oh, yeah, I could imagine. And so finally, this is one of our questions we love to ask everybody. Favorite horror movie, or at least top 3?
So top 3 for me, Friday the 13th is always going to be my top. Halloween is now become my second favorite. I only like 78, 2018 Kills and Ends. I haven't watched any of the other ones. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 I did watch. 2 I did like. And for my third one, it's probably going to be Night of the Living Dead by George Romero, the original OG one.
I love it.
That was so ahead of its time, and the vision George Romero has for that movie was not like anything else. The unfortunate ending of that movie kind of like turns you away at first, but I appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
Because he was doing something that was just never thought of at that time. For 1966, I think that was. So, yeah, so those are my top 3 personal movies.
Awesome. Joshua, thank you so much. Yeah, sorry. I know, like, some people are like, oh, no, you have to call me the full thing. Yeah. No, thank you so much for doing this. And, guys, thank you. Yeah.
He's such a good dude.
Yeah, he's really cool. And we're also going to have his stuff posted below to, like, follow him. And if you want to chat with him about horror movies and all that kind of cool stuff. And then, he was just a lot of fun to talk to.
Awesome. You know who else was really awesome to talk to was one of the other volunteers that we got to interview. Not to be confused with Brittany, not to be confused with Britannica. It's Britt.
Yeah. So we got to interview Britt, and she was awesome. She was a lot of fun. She was a volunteer at the convention itself. And, she was a lot of fun to talk to, so check it out.
But Britt, seriously, honestly, you're one of our favorite people that we got to meet this entire weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. So check this out. Hello, everyone at Fourth Cut. I'm EJ Leeson, and today I'm hanging out with Britt, who works here at Creature Feature Weekend. So tell me, how did you get to be a part of this?
So it's actually kind of funny. I had a little bit of an in because my brother-in-law has been doing this for a little while. He's over there in one of the green shirts. But Ethan is a friend of Craig, who is the guy that puts on the show. And this is actually our first year as volunteers for the show, which is super cool.
That is awesome. Yeah, that's super cool. Super cool. And then how do you like it? Has it been awesome?
It has been amazing. The experience is definitely a different experience than you get as a con attendee because I've been attending cons for a while, and you definitely get, I'd say, a better experience when you get to volunteer, even though it's a lot of standing, it's a lot of work type stuff, but it's really fun work. And you get to see like little bits and pieces of things that happen behind the scenes, and you get to talk to people, and even the way that the celebrities talk to you, like, they don't look at you as just like the typical fangirl customer. It's like you get to actually talk to them as real people, which is a really cool experience.
And let me know if I got this right. Mostly you worked with Doug Jones this weekend, right?
Yeah.
How was it working with Doug?
Doug is amazing. He was super busy all weekend, of course, and my brother-in-law was doing his photos. We were really just line management, so it wasn't that exciting. But it was a really incredible experience meeting him because, I mean, all the celebs are great. Anytime you meet a celeb at an event like this, you are definitely getting an experience that you can't get anywhere else. But Doug in particular, just the attention that he takes to each one of his fans that comes through his line. He takes multiple pictures with people. He always gives everybody a hug. Like, he's just such a personable guy. And, like, you can just really tell that he enjoys being here and interacting with the fans and seeing, you know, the people that made him as big as he is, which is really cool.
Awesome. And then finally, our last question. This is the one we love to ask everybody, even all the stars and stuff. What is your favorite horror movie? And if you can't pick one, you can pick up to 3.
My favorite horror movie. Okay, I have a lot of favorites. I do. I'm definitely partial to the Friday the 13th series because that's fantastic. The first time I ever watched the whole series was with my boyfriend, and it's amazing. I also really love The Cube as like a really sort of weird, like it's just kind of crazy, but that whole series I really dig. I definitely also really like bad horror movies, like Attack of the Killer Refrigerators.
Yes.
Yeah. The worse they are and the more ridiculous, the better.
I totally agree. Well, Britt, thank you so much for taking time and talking with us. Guys, check her out on our YouTube. Thank you so much.